As a porn addiction scientist, why did I agree to be on the middle ground with porn performers? I'm Dr. Trish Leigh, cognitive neuroscientist and author of best-selling porn addiction recovery book, Mind Over Explicit Matter. Let me tell you why I agreed to be there. Because this conversation is so important and it's so misunderstood. People think porn is harmless and it's just a way to relax. And I wanted to go on the middle ground to have this discussion. People who are in the industry and struggle with hypersexuality themselves. They're being bred to be hypersexual and making the distinctions between healthy sexuality and hypersexuality. The conversation was totally awesome. What I really liked was that I think the selection of the cast was so intentional and thoughtful that it allowed for many different perspectives.
Welcome to Middle Ground. I'm Ryan, your host. To the left, we have Team NoFap, and to the right, porn stars.
Sometimes when you get panels together, everybody thinks and says the same thing. And that was not the case at all. On my side was, and it's verses, so it's literally sides. But what I like about the show is that they will give you prompts and the sides don't always agree. You'll have agreement across the two different sides sometimes. So we had 6 prompts and I've made a series that you can check out on that about all the prompts and everything that was discussed and everything that I said, even things that I wanted to say and I didn't get the chance to say. But I really appreciated how rounded out the cast was in terms of the performers. If you've seen the episode, it's really cool. If you are in porn addiction recovery, I would like to give you a trigger warning that you may not want to watch the episode. You may not even be able to listen to it. If that's the case, I'm making a lot of content, so you can listen to the takeaways here with me. Many of my clients have said, I will not be able to watch it and I may not be able to listen to it because it is very triggering. Now, the trigger aspect of it is so powerful for you if you're in porn addiction recovery to realize, why are you triggered? You're triggered because your dopamine pathways are conditioned to go back to porn performers to feel good. So the sight of one could trigger you back in that direction. The voice of one could trigger you. Them talking about their experiences on the set could trigger you. So that's really great self-awareness. So stay here with me. I'll give you the takeaways. But the episode was great. So I would recommend listening to it. If you are up for it, the minute you feel triggered, step away. But there was one gay black man who characterized himself as heavier. And he said when he got into the industry, it really served him because he no longer felt bad about his weight and that he could be appreciated.
For me, porn has been very positive to me, especially being a plus size boy in the gay porn industry.
There was kind of your stereotypical porn performer in a stereotypical porn performer outfit.
To me, I'm more addicted to my phone, to food, to everything else besides that. That's the least addictive thing.
Well, there's qualifiers to the definition of addiction. And then I tell people, just try to stop watching.
There was another woman who she was meant to be unassuming because she's dressed just like young women dress today. So she doesn't look like a porn performer, but she is.
When I was younger, like a teenager, I was really insecure and I couldn't handle the fact that any of my partners thought that someone else was attractive because I had really deep-seated issues.
And then there was a male porn performer who, if you've listened to the series, I've already told you that I really appreciate. He was an intelligent guy and had a lot of really good, deep thoughts about our conversation.
So is that not the same thing? Why is there no possible way to have a healthy relationship with pornography, with masturbation?
It goes back to the dopamine dependency of the super normal stimulus.
But there's so much that gives you dopamine. People get that from work. They get an unhealthy relationship with, as far as
dopamine
getting
from
more
a hug.
You can be addicted to work, but the dopamine from work is significantly lower. It's not a super normal stimulus. It's a normal stimulus.
After we got done shooting, he stuck around and he and I chatted for a little while. One funny thing is when I showed up, the cast was all separated. We weren't supposed to talk to each other at all before. And this camera guy was talking to me. And he's like, what side are you on? And I said, what side do you think I'm on? And he's like, I don't know. And I thought that was interesting. I'm like, so maybe I'm the person who is the scientist that maybe doesn't feel like the scientist. So I thought that was kind of a cool distinction too. Then I was on the same side with 2 gentlemen from the nofap community who are Catholic and really were tapping into the religious aspect, which I appreciated because they have a different stance than me. And the gentleman to my right, he was an ex-backup porn performer. And he talked about his experience of being disillusioned by porn because it was so fake and that it wasn't even about sex at all. And that's the trap, And I love the fact that he said that when he found out it was illusion, he couldn't be part of it anymore, nor can he consume it. That's disillusionment. I've talked about that before where, you're disillusioned, you think it's a thing. And what happens to many women with betrayal traumas, they have disillusionment because they had the illusion of a relationship that they had with a person who has a secret sex life with porn. Then they find out that they don't fully know all the aspects of their partner and they're disillusioned. The illusion of their perfect relationship, dies in that disillusionment. So I really liked his use of the word disillusion. But the cast was really well rounded. And one major takeaway for me was that nobody argued if porn was addictive or not. So I thought that was kind of cool. But at the same time, people weren't fully aware of the mental and physical health issues that come along with porn consumption. And I likened it to chocolate cake. Actually, the male porn performer, he and I kind of were going back and forth with the idea that porn is like chocolate cake with frosting with the red dye and the blue dye and the yellow dye. But inherently, it's sugar, it's fat, it's chemicals, and that, bakers bake the cake, but if they don't know about the chemicals in the fat and the sugar, then they're not meaning to harm anybody. But, the makers of the chemicals in the blue dye are aware that those are harmful for people. So it's more of an industry distinction than a performer distinction. But in the conversation that we had about people consuming porn together to enhance their sex life.
So me being with a partner and like us watching porn together, like that, you compare that to us being two alcoholics.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Just because we want to spice it up a little, we just want to watch other
because
people have sex.
it's still objectification. Like if you're watching other people have sex, you are no longer having a sexual experience in and of itself. Like it takes you out of the present and it puts you into fantasy. Fantasy is hypersexualized, which means in your experience with your partner, you're looking for level 15 dopamine instead of the happiness trifecta.
I said, it's like you're having a beautiful French meal. We're going to characterize healthy sex as a French meal. If you've ever gone to a French restaurant, I remember when I was young in Buffalo, New York, I went to Rue Franklin. First time I'd ever had a French meal. Very expensive for my young self. I was the age of the performers, to be honest. I was probably 28, and the Hubs and I got together. His friend Kevin worked at this restaurant. We went. And you know what I got, which I still say? I got squab. And I still say that chicken is practically squab because squab is a bird. But, I got the tiniest portion of squab and the tiniest portion of, whatever carb, I don't remember, and the tiniest portion of vegetable, but every bite was delicious. It wasn't like the sugar and the frosting of a chocolate cake. It was well-rounded. It was delightful. And if you've ever been to a French restaurant, most of them are like that. Like every bite, that it came from a grass-fed cow. The butter came from 4 grass-fed cows on a French countryside. Like so delicious. And what I said is that, you're having this French meal. That's what healthy sex is. You're having this experience with another person. And it is one of the most pleasurable, actual, real life dopamine producing experiences. It's up there on a scale of 1 to 10. But the chocolate cake of porn is a level 20. It's artificial. It's jacked up with chemicals, fat, and sugar. So it's like you're having this French meal if you're having sex with someone, but you have porn on and you keep watching it to get aroused. It's like you're eating a French meal, but you keep going over and eating a bite of chocolate cake in the middle of the French meal to get a hit of sugar, fat, and chemicals. It's not natural. It's artificial. It doesn't have the place in the French meal because at the end of the French meal, guess what there is? There's a little tiny piece of chocolate ganache. And it's small, but it's delightful and it's well-rounded. And the French actually talk about orgasm as la petite mort, the little death. And it's not the big death like porn consumption and compulsive masturbation, but instead it's the little bit of escapism that you get to have in the experience with your partner, that escaping the little bit of stress, you get to have this experience that takes you away from the world. That's what healthy sexuality is. So we had an awesome conversation. And honestly, I think it changes everything because we agreed kids shouldn't have access to porn. Right now, kids and young people are the number one consumers. We agreed that porn is not sex at all, nor is it real sex at all. And we agree that the connection and the intimacy and the vulnerability and a real sexual experience with a real partner is the spice of life. That's what it's about. So it was a really cool conversation and I really enjoyed it. So check out the series where I break down all the aspects of all the prompts and all the questions and all the discussion. And hopefully you'll have some takeaways. And if you're looking for help on your porn addiction recovery, please get the book, Mind Over Explicit Matter. If you're not able to use this book to recover yourself, because it does cover neurological dysregulation, brain, it covers the mind, it covers the body, it covers your social relationships, and it covers spirituality, all 5 prongs of porn addiction recovery that have to be explored. But if you're still struggling, then when you get done reading the book, all the things in there can be implemented. And if you need more help, that's what me and my team at Dr. Trish, Leigh and Company, that's what we do. That's how we've helped thousands of people recover from porn addiction. So if you need more help, please go over to drtrishleigh.com. You can download the free guide, 32 Brain Hacks to Reclaim Your Life from Supernormal Stimuli. I call it a Pleasure Pathways Reset. Get that guide and check it out. It'll enhance the book. And if you're inspired, get a qEEG brain map so I can show you how your brain is performing and what porn has done to it. And we can go from there. All right. As always, control your brain or it'll control you.